House of Blues Foundation Room provides the most breathtaking view of the Las Vegas Strip from high atop Mandalay Bay. Members and hotel guests can enjoy exclusive access to our fine dining restaurant, a full-service bar, exotic nightclub lounge, 7 secluded rooms, and the perfect space to host a private party or reception. For more information, dining reservations, or a private tour, call extension 77601.
You can't be a guy. Hey, so this is a real situation. We're at Mandalay Bay. It's 9:58.
We're down in the gym basement.
It's 11:02.
Yeah.
11?
Yeah.
And I got a bunch of people down here from our party. Johnny, the camera guy's trying to get this footage.
I got this.
This is a real deal. Real deal. Okay? So if you're in Mandalay, we're down in the underground gym. It's an employee gym down here. If any of you guys know any data,
Yeah, let us know.
I'm sitting up behind a leg machine. So the only way in right now, the only way in is through that door, I think. Huh? What?
We got something for them if they come.
My bag's got 4 clips in it. So, this is what's happening.
This is what happened. My friend filmed it.
Oh my God!
She's up in the foundation room.
Shot?
I sent it to you.
That's great.
Oh my God! All these people are not moving right now.
Yeah, it's 20 dead right now. Supposedly, it's what we're hearing. Nobody can come get us. Okay. There's a lot of underground space in this place. The hotel's been really, really calm, really cool. No, I talked to Cole. Cole's fine. We left Cole Hatter, Ryan Secco, Cole Ryan, and Ryan Secco, Cole Hatter are still with about 20 of my guests at the foundation room. Hey Ryan, everything all right?
Yeah, everything's great. Everything good with you?
Okay, you got movement up there?
What's that?
Is Cole up there with you?
Yeah, Cole's right next to me.
Yeah, Cole's good.
Yeah, Cole's right here.
All right, Ryan. All right, brother. You guys are good, right? Yeah, we're good. We're down. We're downstairs.
They're all laying down crying, and they're on the foundation room.
Just be safe and you guys are good, right?
Yeah, I'm on the phone with Ryan right now. Everything's fine.
Okay, Sasha.
So,
He's on the
hey Ryan, hey Ryan.
Yeah.
Cole Hatter's there with you, right?
Yeah, he's right next to me.
So, and does anybody know you have a piece?
Yes,
They see it, or you got it out, or you got it on you? Okay.
Just swap.
Hang up. So Ryan Secco just hung up on me because he said I gotta go. So this is definitely a real event.
down the entire stretch. Okay, so keep me updated, okay?
These people are anxious right now. They're worried. Police are clearing floors, floor by floor right now. They're clearing the floors. Yeah, it's not funny about Ocho. So, what about Ryan? Yeah. Yeah, so this is a real situation. They're clearing the floors. Okay, I am carrying. Ryan Secco is in the foundation room. I was on the phone with him. Where it started, by the way, it started where we were. We left 7 or 8 minutes before this happened, literally. No, it's not a hoax. This is definitely not a hoax.
I sent it to you. Is that your phone? You want me to airdrop
What the fuck's going on? I know what's going on down there. That's right. I know.
They're still clearing people. They're still clearing people throughout the hotel. Be ready, stay ready, man. Travel around, you never know what's going to happen. Just saying, stay ready. We're leaving Las Vegas.
Grant Cardone tweeted 3 hours ago, to all who will use Las Vegas shooting to push your gun control agenda, trust me, you want to be armed when these things happen. I was there. Hashtag gun control. The gun used was illegal. Gun control only stops you from defending yourself, and only a coward would give up that responsibility.
We were literally, Elena, Johnny the camera guy, we were at ground zero. Freaking terrible tragedy. Praying for the families this morning. Our prayers and hopes and wishes go out to all the families, the deceased, the injured, people on critical list. I just want to say how proud I am of my team. Elena was phenomenal. It's the kind of partner you want by your side. Calm, calculating, planning, on board, team member. I got Johnny. Johnny was at my side all night for the last 12 hours. We had a plan. We got moved 3 times last night. And we're finally going home today. We just got released from the hotel. So, all of you that have been pulling for us, thank you so much. Appreciate your prayers. And, hey, Elena, appreciate your prayers and your wishes and your... So grateful for all of you. Hold on 1 second, I'm gonna try to take a photo. So really appreciate each and every one of you pulling for us. Maybe your prayers and hopes and wishes for us kept us safe last night, so we really appreciate it. And really appreciate all of you pulling for us. We don't take you for granted. Okay, we know, I believe all that works. So one of the reasons we do so much of reaching out to people. Thank you, Ryan.
Grant Cardone, Facebook. Filled with a sad heart, Elena and I are flying home from Las Vegas after the tragic and senseless shooting resulting in 59 deaths and over 500 injuries. Elena and I were at ground zero when this happened last night. We were literally only a few doors where the shooter was later found dead and had been living there not far from the shooter for the last 4 days. On Sunday night, the night of the shooting, we were holding a meet and greet for investors of Cardone Capital. Almost 100 accredited and qualified investors showed up at the foundation room on the 43rd floor. I think it might be the 64th, I'm not sure, but 63rd. At the Mandalay Bay Resort to learn more about what I'm doing in the real estate space, just a few floors above the shooter. We started at 7 p.m. and at 5:58 I invited a bunch of people to go play a little hold'em poker on the ground floor casino before we flew home to Miami. It didn't take us more than about 12 minutes to move from the foundation room on the 43rd floor to get set up for poker in the casino at 10:03. We didn't know we were literally passing the floor where the shooter was preparing, where we sat down and got chips. We literally played our first hand where Kevin Harrington won ace high against my camera guy, Johnny the camera guy, who's trying to bully Harrington, who didn't go for it. 10:08 p.m. This is the first reporting of the shooting. We started noticing something was changing in the casino amongst the staff and other players. There was an energy in the hotel room, some random noises, and a light panic moving through the hotel. I opened Twitter to find out there was an active shooter at the Route 91 Country Concert Festival across the street from the Mandalay Bay, where there was 3,000 people had gathered for the last 3 days. Every day I passed this location just outside the Mandalay Bay, traveling to the other hotels for meetings. While we moved to the casino, keep in mind the other half of my team is still in the foundation room at the top of the hotel, just a few floors of the shooting, including Ryan, Teskiel, and my other pilot, Andrew, Larry, Bennett, Forbes, Riley, Cole, A. Hatter, Legacy the dancer, and a bunch of the clients and investors. With me was Elena Cardone, Johnny the cameraman, Kevin Harrington and his team, and others, and another 7 investors. I told Elena and Johnny, stay close to me. We are not running out. Stay calm. There is one person in charge. Where I go, you follow, no matter what. Elena's combat and defense training immediately kicked in and started looking for the most secure places to hunker down. The poker shift supervisor, Janet Cho Mignano, great guy, recognized me as a social media influencer and showed us an exit at the back door of the poker room that would be good for an escape if necessary. Elena asked him about the locked door just a few feet behind our table, and she was told that's locked and only for employee executives. About that time there was starting to be a lot more activity throughout the casinos, and reports that the activity terrace was 3 and that they were moving throughout the hotel. Twitter lights up suggesting multiple hotels being attacked, bomb threats, and terrorists moving through the main casino at Mandalay Bay shooting guests. You can see and feel the terror start to spread throughout the building, and I reminded our team, stay calm, stay close, and don't run. The next thing I know, the employee executive door just behind us opened, and before it closed, Elena calmly and elegantly jumped up and jammed 4 fingers inside the door just before it closed. I got up, John followed, we moved into the private space, and the rest of our team followed. These back rooms were quickly filled up with Mandalay Bay employees and executives. The first thing Elena did was look for secure places to hunker down the team in case of an attack. She looked for the offices that were locked and insisted they be unlocked, and told our team to be prepared to use those spaces if necessary. While she did that, I found a great place to set up to offer a counter-attack in case the shooters were to start moving through the casino shooting people as we were being told. We were later evacuated to the underground holding area as the FBI and local police, after the shooting had stopped and it was discovered the shooter had killed himself. I'll leave the link in the description box if you want to read the rest. Tweeted 9 hours ago, freedom can't be provided by a government.
So we're leaving Las Vegas now. Elena, what's your takeaway here?
The takeaway is, I'm happy to be alive. We're fortunate. And number 2, I can't stress the value of training. It really kicked in yesterday in such a major way. And I think it's going to be the difference between life and death in a life and death situation. So be aware, be alert, know your surroundings. And if you can get any training, get training. It's better to have and not need.
Yeah. And you guys need to have these conversations with your spouses. Like when something goes down, who's in charge, right? Who's doing what? So, because you can't have, at that moment, you can't have 2 people wanting to go 2 different ways. It doesn't matter who's in charge, but one person has to be. Where are we going? What are we doing? Otherwise, you get because our group, we had no pandemonium. We had nobody freaking. We had a couple people. One person had too much alcohol.
We had methodical
But it was
thoughts, plans, action.
Yeah.
We were constantly surveying our sources, our resources, surveying
friends online.
Where could we be the safest? How can we survive the next moment? And we just took action. Our group was really amazing.
Calm the whole time.
Very calm.
And our calmness spilled over to everybody else. I really believe that.
Yeah, and a few of the girls that went into panic mode, we were able to calm them down really quickly. We're like, look, this is the plan. We're safe.
And they and because we were calm, they were calm.
Yeah.
So we were on the, first of all, we stayed on the 20th floor, which there was reports that there was somebody shooting from the 20th floor. You'll look online, you'll see that, but he was actually on the 32nd floor.
Yeah.
We were above that at the foundation room. So 6 or 7 minutes prior to the shooter, we were in the foundation room on our way down the elevator where 100 people in the foundation room. Kevin Harrington, Forbes Riley, Elena, myself.
Yeah.
We were in the foundation room, and I said, hey, let's go ahead and go down to the casino. And we did go down to the casino, and what happened was, literally, I'm talking 7, maybe 9 minutes at the max. We go down the elevator, 60-something floors. I think that's where the foundation room is. I'm not sure. You guys might need to check. It doesn't really have a number, so I don't know how high that hotel goes.
Yeah.
I know that's the biggest hotel if not America, for certainly Vegas. So Kevin Harrington was there, Forbes Riley was there, Elena was there. We had another 185 investors in our real estate looking at what we're doing with purchasing real estate. Somebody said the foundation room's from the 63rd floor. You'll see a video that was shot from the balcony after we left. We went down
That was shot
into the casino. We sat down in the poker room, the Hold'em poker room. There was about 10 of us, maybe 12 of us. Actually, there was 12 of us. And we sat down, literally all got chips, and the whole thing went nuts.
We started to get a text saying active shooter.
Yeah, and that he was moving through the hotel. The truth is, what was happening was SWAT was moving through the hotel.
Right.
And to go up to that floor to get him. So we were calm. We got moved 3 times to 3 different locations. I was separated from Ryan, Andrew, the other half of my team. Johnny, the camera guy, was with us. And dude, that guy was freaking amazing. Okay. It was scary, but you know, we knew, hey, let's get ourselves in the best possible position we can. I can't answer that question about that. Now, we didn't hear shots. I thought I heard something in the hotel, but yeah, he is down. Okay. We didn't hear shots. Again, we were in the hotel, but what we saw on TV was the event across the street. And I'm like, that thing is happening across the street. We're all right over here. There's no way that guy makes it back to Mandalay. Well, the reality is the guy was in the Mandalay shooting down on this audience. So the shooting, I don't know. Again, we weren't in the shooting. So some people say it was like 10 minutes long. So look, the point here is not to belabor the point of the shooting. It's to have a good team, man. Have a good team. Talk about these things happening when you go on events. Who's going to be in charge if something goes nuts? What if you get separated? Okay. What's expected of each party? Okay. Like when this thing started, we didn't move. We didn't try to move through the hotel.
I just tried to get us behind that locked door. I said we need to get off the main public floor, and we went and locked ourselves in the employee offices. And behind in the offices, I found one locked door and just told the ladies, look, we hear gunshots, this is the plan. We go in there and the guys, you know, protect us.
Yeah. Okay, well, appreciate you guys. Again, we're leaving Las Vegas right now, back to Miami. So need good partners, folks. You need good friends. You need people on the same page. You can't have people going 17 different ways.
And lastly, I just want to tell everyone that Mandalay Bay did a really great job of moving us down to the basement, getting people fed in the staff cafeteria down there with blankets, remaining calm, keeping everyone calm. This morning, when they finally did open the casino, the Starbucks, we ordered our Starbucks. It was on the house. They really just tried everything they could to
They were calm,
make us
they were
ease.
cool, they treated you right. A bunch of them knew me, by the way. This social media thing is real, folks. Okay? I'm down there with 150 people and probably knew 15 of them. 15 of them knew me. So you want friends everywhere you go. Your parents telling you to fly under the radar. You don't want to fly under the radar, man. You got to get attention. You know, now you got to decide now what kind of attention are you going to get. What are people going to know you for? Are you the guy they're like, oh, that's that guy with the wife and the 2 kids and he helps people? Or is it the guy, you know, that's you just got to decide. Who do you want to be when shit hits the fan? Because who you were yesterday is going to show up when the shit hits the fan, I guarantee you. And not just you, but the rest of your crew. So we didn't have a bunch of drunk people around us. We didn't have a bunch of drugged people around us.
No.
We didn't have a bunch of people creating chaos and la 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 and tripping out and making people nervous. We had people making each other calm.
We had plans, actions.
So just think about it. It's going to happen to you one day, man. Guarantee you. Bad things happen to good people. Stay stable.
It's just what version is it?
Stay calm. Have a plan. Make the best of a bad event.
If there's a shooting at USC right now, let's send all of our prayers over there.
Send your prayers.
Send all your good vibes that protected us over there to them. We'll be doing the same.
One thing you don't want to do, one thing I know for sure you don't want to do in these things, you don't want to run. You don't start running. If we'd have run last night, we'd be out on the streets all night. We would have not have a place to go. I don't know, maybe Brad Lee would have come and picked us up, but okay. So God bless you guys. It looks like we're hung up in the takeoff here a little bit. Be great. Take care of your families. Get a plan. Hey, Grant here. Tuesday morning. Just getting back from Las Vegas after this tragic massacre of 59 people, 500 and some odd people hurt, injured, critically. Emotionally, so many families scared, terrified. I'm driving to work this morning. Somebody made fun of me. They're like, what are you doing in that little Honda? I'm like, dude, I'm grateful for this little Honda. I know a lot of you are used to seeing me roll around in a fancy car with stars in the ceiling, but that's not really who I am. That's just a car I own. This is the car, the Honda card, our little emergency car that we use that I'm really, really grateful for that I can have this morning. My other car's in the shop, and everybody was making a big fuss. Oh, we got to get a nice car for him at the from the dealership, and it's gonna. I said, look, I'm like, guys, it's not a big deal, okay? Bad things happen every day. Tragic things happen every day to people all over the world. Puerto Rico, Irma, Harvey, earthquakes. Like, look at the tragedies. Look at the number of things that happen to people every day. All over the world, and the biggest complaint you or I have is maybe our car, or that it doesn't have leather seats, or like there's so many things I realize I take for complete granted. You know, like air condition. You know, we were stuck in the not the convention center, but the lower parts of the hotel for about 10.5, maybe 11 hours because of this tragic shooting. I was with my wife. I just kept saying, hey, what do you have to be grateful for? My kids aren't here. Nothing bad has happened to us. I'm protected. I have a plan. My wife's sane. We're calm. You know, we're around people. I'm breathing. I'm alive. Like what do you have to be grateful for today? I got a business. I have challenges. I have obstacles. I have barriers. I have creativity, commitment. I can learn how to push through them. I got employees and friends coming. You know, here's Robert Sisla walking up. These guys work with me and love me, and they're there for me all the time. I was with John, the camera guy. I had Ryan with me. I had friends with me. So look, today, just maybe make a list throughout the day. Maybe every 4 or 5 hours. Hey, what do you have to be grateful for? It's hard to be miserable and grateful at the same time. You know, it's hard to be a dick and be grateful at the same time. By the way, women can be dicks too. Let's keep it real. So look, this is helpful to me from time to time during the day to write down what I had to be grateful for. And hope this message finds you safe, well, you know, strong, positive, grateful for whatever you have. You're married, you're having some problems right now. Hey, be grateful that you're married. You woke up with a headache. Hey, be grateful that the rest of your body doesn't ache. You woke up and realized you're having financial problems. Be grateful that you have finances. You're a salesperson and you're like, a deal just didn't close. Be grateful that you can get out there and prospect some more and get some more business. You guys that have real estate, you know, you had a toilet break today and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Hey, be grateful you have real estate. Look, we're alive. Got opportunity all around us. You got your health, your creativity, your commitment, courage. Got a little freaking spunk. Got a little pep in your step, a little pride in your stride. Shit, be grateful, okay? God bless. And by the way, I love this Honda. I might start driving it all the time. Be grateful for everything you have. God bless.
It's time to unlock some of the best-kept secrets in health, wealth, and happiness. Are you ready to live your life to the fullest and hear insider tips from today's experts? Then tune in to the Forbes Factor with celebrity TV host and inspirational icon, Forbes Riley. She's a best-selling author and TV fitness expert, and you know her from QVC and HSN. Now she brings her expert advice and guests to the Voice America Influencers channel. Tune in live every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Time and 3 p.m. Eastern Time for the Forbes Factor. We guarantee it will be the best hour of your week.
St. Petersburg woman who is known in the Bay Area for her lifestyle and fitness business witnessed that horrific shooting in Las Vegas. Forbes Riley was a few floors above the shooter in that same hotel where he opened fire on the crowd below. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson has her story tonight. Jeff.
Yeah, good evening, Keith. Forbes Riley lives in St. Petersburg. She's been a featured guest on our daytime program and appeared in her own infomercials. Last night, she was a witness to mass murder.
On video from Forbes Riley, you can hear the shots ring out.
Look at all the bodies.
I know what's going on down there.
Riley was attending a party held by the stars of the TV program Shark Tank.
We hear, what we thought was just, fireworks.
The party was just 10 floors above the shooter. Their view, essentially the same view the shooter had.
There's no one moving down there, guys.
She soon realized something horrific was going on.
And you look down going, what are you talking about? There's people lying on the ground. I think they're dead.
Still, even though she could see people motionless on the ground, it took her a while to mentally process all that was happening.
Well, within seconds or minutes, we realized that something really was happening. People were running, and that noise was, it didn't sound like a gun. There's no gun I'd ever heard that went pop, 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 pop.
Riley and other party guests were eventually ushered into a large room inside the hotel, where they spent the night on the floor. She wants her friends and family in the Bay Area to know she's okay.
I'm fine. I'm not, nobody shot at me. I don't know emotionally what happened.
But it will take her a while mentally to process the horrific events she witnessed.
I just am having a really tough time understanding what happened, how one person could do this much damage that fast.
Yeah, what a story. Forbes described a surreal scene in the casinos this morning. They were closed. No one was there. No one was gambling. If you've ever been to Las Vegas, that never happens. The place runs 24 hours a day, but clearly this day was different. Keith.
Yeah, and I think they're just within the past hour or so open the strip back up. So what a day it has been. Jeff Patterson reporting live. Thank you.
You watched the massacre unfold because you were just a few floors above the gunman. In fact, we spoke to you 24 hours ago on the program. Now you know what you were witnessing at the time. How are you feeling this morning?
I feel horrible. So we didn't sleep very much last night. We were on the floor of the foundation room. They finally let us go at about 9 o'clock. And I do want to thank the hotel. They were very gracious and very sweet to us. But it was a very odd moment when we came down the elevator, the doors open, and if you've ever been to Vegas, there's lots and lots of people there. There was no one in the entire casino. We walked out to the street behind me. There were no cars, there was no foot traffic. There was just sirens and just flashing lights. And then I looked up because we hadn't seen the actual window where it was, because when this was going on, we did not realize that there was just one shooter. We were told 30 shooters. The Bellagio was under attack. The Flamingo, we thought there was a bomb in the building. And when the SWAT team came into the foundation room with the 100 of us there, and they're like, everybody get down, I actually ran out and hid behind a flower pot. I think what's hurt this morning is that we didn't have any idea what was happening as the rest of the country did. But I can remember clearly as we were taking the picture, and I have video of just hearing those pop-pops. That now represents people who were dying or injured. And I finally fell asleep about 7 o'clock this morning for about an hour and a half, and they had the TV on when I woke up. And the number had risen to 500. It's been almost impossible to function. And I appreciate you talking to me, but I have to tell you, this is traumatic.
Yeah, Forbes, of course it's traumatic. It's a shocking thing for everybody caught up in this. So many thousands of lives will have been impacted by what happened. As an American, this is not the first time we've seen a mass shooting. There are more mass shootings in America than any other country in the world. The scale of these massacres appears to be getting worse, from Sandy Hook to the Aurora movie theater massacre to Orlando, the gay nightclub, now this. What is the answer, Forbes, to this? At what point does America say enough?
Well, Pearson, I appreciate you kind of taking your stand on guns, but I've got to tell you, when you've got a lone person who wants to do anything, you could walk into a grocery store, strapped with a bomb, and blow people up. So the conversation about people and their tensions and what the world is doing and how we don't service people's mental ability, that seems more important to me than just gun control.
But why would you not want to reduce? This guy had 42 guns, Forbes. Now, people will hear you and they think you just survived the worst mass shooting in American history. Why would you not at least want to try and make it harder for people like this guy to have AR-15 semi-automatic rifles?
There should never be semi-automatic rifles. And I'll share something, Pierce. I raised a 12-year-old boy from 12 to 20 who was shot and killed in South Central. My husband's best friend was shot in the face at a pharmacy. I'm pretty aware of what guns can do to people, but it's also those people who are doing it. In the first case, it was a gang member who didn't fit in. Second case, it was a guy who was about to be fired inside a pharmacy. I don't know what this man's motive was, and I don't know how many people die every day all around the world. It's not just the guns. What he had was excessive. And since Sandy Hook, no. There's been no semi-automatics. But again, today is not about that for me. I'm not a politician. I am a mom of 2 kids who witnessed firsthand America's greatest tragedy. And when I think about the people down there and I keep hearing the heroic, I hear first responders. I will tell you, even though the SWAT team freaked us out, they were there in minutes. I mean, they caught this guy. And it was spectacular how they managed to contain the situation as fast as they did. So I feel very blessed that we in this country do those things.
Forbes, I can't imagine. It sounds like you've already been through tragedy in your life, and then yesterday you are now aware of what you witnessed, and of course that is having a massive impact on you. I know that the Mandalay Bay Hotel yesterday put out a call for trained trauma counsellors, because clearly this is going to have an effect not just on those people directly caught up in it, but also those people who witnessed it and who were in the hotel at the time. Our hearts go out to everybody, and I hope that you all get the support that's needed right now.
When you have concert goers and just regular people walking over dead bodies, the stories of heroism is astounding. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who was so conscious in doing this. And let's not, I now went back into the hotels. I'm now being frisked. We're now looking at our bags. We're going to overreact like we always do. Pierce, I hope that there's an answer, and maybe it is gun control, and I hope this conversation happens, because this should never, ever happen. But my question to you is, how do you prevent when one guy goes nuts? You need a regulation to drive a car, to do all those things. You don't need a regulation to raise a child and to misraise children. And I think a lot of what we're doing is we've just devalued. We've devalued human life with video games. I watch my son kill people all the time. I would ban those. I would ban violent movies that makes it okay to cut up people and see all that on a regular basis. Those things that fill people's minds so they think they want to do this, I think that's more of a problem than the guns themselves.
I think that's fair, and that's a good point. I think there is a real issue with violent video games and movies. But we have those same violent video games and movies in this country. They have them in Japan, where they have 2 or 3 gun deaths a year. Yeah, but here's my point, Forbes. A lot of countries have the same movies, the same video games, the same crazy people, but they can't get their hands on the killing machines. And that's the difference about America. It is so easy. Nevada has the easiest gun laws in America. If you want to go and get 42 guns like this guy, you just go and buy 42 guns. That's the problem.
As we walked out there to take the photo, we started hearing these pops. And then the video that you see, Meghan, my girlfriend, and I were looking down, and she starts screaming that she's like, this is gunfire.
Do you guys hear the gunshots just went off? Look at the people laying there. Oh my God. I know people down there.
No, they're gone, Wendy. They left.
Holy sh**.
Listen to that.
What is that?
That's
a
gunfire.
machine gun.
That's gunfire.
Wait, no, wait.
Where the fuck are they
I'm okay,
shooting
look.
Oh my God! In some moment you're like, how did I end up here? What am I doing in the middle of all this? And all these thoughts of, God, everything goes through your head. It's weird. There's a lot that rushes in. Thinking, if I died right now, did I do everything I wanted to do? I'm not going to see my kids again. I didn't even think about who was doing it or why they were doing it. There was no why. It's just some crazy person who's out there to hurt people. And please just stay out of the line of fire because you'd like to raise your kids. What I know now and what I thought I saw are 2 different things. What I thought I saw was people lying. There's no way I would have ever believed that people were dying or dead already, that's what I was looking at. Because that defies any sense of logic that you'd ever have, that you're looking down at a concert and you think they're little tiny bodies. And you saw people scurrying and running. But now that I know what I was looking at, that's the part that I can't quite get over, is that what I was looking at in the whole front, from there's the stage, a whole mass of bodies just on the ground. And then people, not a lot, but it was not a full concert. It was not 22,000 people anymore. A mass of bodies and just people running. And it's not a good sight. It's not something, I see it on television every once in a while. I'll see my picture, my video, because I know Meghan and my video, it's on my iPhone. The greatest tragedy that's hit this country is on my iPhone that I took the video of. I'm sick to my stomach. You can't even conceive of the pain and the horror. And like I said, the more that I found out what actually happened, the more I fell apart. I was probably okay thinking, okay, I don't know what I'm looking at. 2 people got killed. Okay, that's all I heard initially. And that's terrible, not compared to 500 people getting injured and 59 dying. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at dead people. And I get really wigged out when I think about it like that.
And then we're watching, there's a concert down on the ground, and all of a sudden everyone's fucking running. And now I'm seeing 30.
Look at the people that are still staying in the front row. They're like, screw it, if we get shot, we're staying here.
I think somebody opened fire. Shit. It's fucking serious. No way. Dude, they're gonna start shutting down all.
Is there people laying?
That's terrible.
So much moving down there, guys.
This is nuts, man.
Look at the people laying in there. Look, there's people. Hey, there's people laying there.
There's people laying
there?
Are you sure?
Look at the people laying there.
No way.
Well, we're outside.
That's fucking bad. That's a machine gun.
You gotta be kidding me.
Wait, are all those people laying there?
No, I don't know if that's what you're seeing there. But look at all the police that
don't know who they're shooting at, though. But you can see everyone dipping out.
Where is that coming from? Look at all the police. This is really happening. Yeah, look at that.
Like, I want, you know, morbid curiosity. We have to stay up here, but we really should get the phone back.
Hey, it's Jason Hartman, and I wanted to do this special little segment here of the podcast because I actually witnessed the Las Vegas shooting last night. That changed my life forever. I'm sure I'll just never forget that, and it was horrific for sure. But it was nothing for me compared to the people that were obviously the victims and the people that were on the ground that were close to it. Here's what happened and what I saw, and I got some video, and the media's been calling me all day, and the video's been shared many, many times now. I was at a business meeting hearing about a real estate deal that Grant Cardone was talking about. You might have heard of Grant Cardone. He's an author, a real estate investor. I was there with several of my friends. We were at the foundation room at the top of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. As we were leaving, around 9:30 or so, 9:30 p.m. on Sunday evening, we walked through the main foundation room area, which is, the foundation room's like a private club that's part of the House of Blues. It's at the top of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. We walked out onto the balcony and heard what we now know was a lot of gunshots, automatic weapons, a lot of gunshots. It was very, very loud, the way it echoed through the building. At first, we didn't know what it was. People were talking about it. We're saying, what's that noise? Is that a jackhammer? Is it fireworks? Is it sound effects? And then we looked down onto the Christian country music concert, Route 91 Harvest Festival, that was below us. And the movement was odd. It was far away, so at least with my eyes, I couldn't see it extremely well, but I turned on my iPhone and started capturing video, and I used the iPhone to actually zoom in to see it better. And it looked like people were laying on the ground. And turns out they were. And so people were leaving the event, and what made us realize that there was really a problem here, that this tragedy was actually unfolding, is that it was only about 9:30. And, anybody knows that the concert probably wouldn't end till 11 p.m. or so. Why is everybody leaving? More shots rang out, and then we realized these really are gunshots. They were incredibly loud. It echoed through all the tall buildings there in Las Vegas. And we got in the elevator and left and went downstairs. And it was kind of a strange scene downstairs. Some people had no idea what was going on. Some people were starting to look like they were, really exiting fast. People were looking around, but it hadn't really occurred to basically most people in the lobby. And then, in the lobby of the Mandalay Bay and the attached Four Seasons Hotel, there were police running through the lobby, not with just their sidearm and their uniform, but with machine guns. They were heavily armed cops. They weren't like SWAT team cops, but they were heavily armed police or some kind of security people. I think they were, Metro-type police. We got out, got the car, started on the way home, and you could just see police cars coming from every direction. They were blocking roads. They were barricading, forming a perimeter. Maybe the suspect is trying to get away, so, they needed to control the scene. They were closing bridges. There were just police everywhere, 90 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, driving down the other side of the freeway. And then the ambulances. There were just, ambulance after ambulance coming toward that scene as we were going away from it. I saw a lot of this from upstairs at the Mandalay Bay Hotel as well. And just a tragic, terrible event. These disgusting terrorists called ISIS claimed responsibility for the event. The media is sort of half reporting that, half not, it seems like. There's all this agenda and political correctness. You can never get the truth about anything anymore, it seems like. But who knows? Nobody really knows yet. It's just too early to tell what really happened here. But it's just, at this point, I think the fatality toll is like 58 people and over 500 people wounded, some pretty seriously, I'm sure. So I'm at a charity event right now called Monday's Dark, where people have been dropping off supplies, water, paper towels, diapers, medical supplies, personal hygiene supplies, everything, juice, cups for the blood banks. They tried to get a blood bank here, and the blood banks are super busy, so that's good news. People are donating blood, thankfully, and they couldn't get the blood bank to come here, the mobile blood mobile. But wow, this is I just never in my life thought I would witness some terrible tragedy like this. And many people have been reaching out since I posted that video, the media, friends, of course, saying, are you okay? You must be shaken up. Well, yeah, I'm shaken up about it. I don't know that I've really processed it yet, but it was no big deal for me. I mean, I saw it, but I saw it from a distance. There were people on the ground that saw people bloody, dead. Must have just been awful. And then, of course, there are the actual victims, a zillion times worse. So what a sad day. The biggest terrorist attack in the U.S. since 9/11. And it is of great concern that the next one will try to outdo it and make it worse. Whatever terrible method these disgusting psychos use. So I want to get the story for you from one of my friends here. Several of my friends did not leave as early as I did from the Mandalay Bay Hotel. I got out. They were in lockdown all night in the hotel. They left at 7:30 in the morning, 8 a.m., they had to stay there, and they weren't guests of the hotel, mind you. They were just at a meeting, at the same meeting I was at. But the police came and locked them in and said, you can't leave. And, they had to screen people because obviously there could be a suspect in there, mixing in with the general population to try and hide. So I'm going to see if I can get a little clip, a little soundbite from one of my friends who was there who didn't leave till about 8 a.m. So my friend Larry was actually in lockdown at the Mandalay Bay Hotel. He was essentially a prisoner, required to stay there. He wasn't a hotel guest. He was just there for a business meeting, as were many of my other friends. And what happened?
So we were in the same room as where the real estate investor meeting with Grant went down.
Yeah.
From there, I want to say at some point someone received a text. Maybe there was a video. Someone had received a video. Someone could have actually taken a video on their phone. I don't remember which one. But at that point, we realized there was an active shooting situation. So many of us went on Twitter trying to find Fox News to see what's going on. There was kind of conflicting reports, but like on Twitter, it talked about there was something going down at the Luxor. There was something going on in New York. They mentioned a couple other places, multiple shooters, so we thought inside...
It seems like a grand attack, like a really coordinated...
This is a terrorist attack, highly coordinated, and at that point, I just remember there's probably about 20 of us left in the one room, and the room was probably closed at that point, and probably within about 10, maybe 15 minutes from that point, as we were just all trying to figure it all out, it got really quiet, and I remember someone yelling, listen to what they have to say, and there was just all this commotion, and literally at that point...
And they was the police, the SWAT team?
There was someone in our room that said, hey, listen up. Then there was just all this commotion, outside. You could hear the commotion, and at that point, we knew there was an active shooter in Mandalay Bay. Initially, they said 32nd floor, and now I don't know if we were on the 46th floor or the 64th. But
64th. It was up high. It was like 60, at the top of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. Yeah.
But at that point, we didn't know if it was the actual shooter that was coming in. And so we thought whoever's out there is breaking down the door to get in where we're at.
Wow.
And everyone starts running off like a bat out of hell. I jumped behind, I jumped into the corner. There was a couple couches. Guys were moving couches around to try to hide underneath them. People were trying to get in the closets. Yeah, it was because you didn't know what the hell was coming. You had no idea. Yeah. They said multiple shooters.
But who is they? You keep saying they. Who was that? Just another attendee there? Or a staff person at the hotel?
There was just people in our, there was no, I don't remember if there was, take that back, there was somebody from the foundation room that must have communicated to us at some point. And that's when so the door closed. But then, like I said, there's all this commotion going on, and now we don't know, holy shit, is this the shooter? And that's when everyone like took off like a bat out of hell.
They just freaked out. My friend Ben, who was there with you, he said at one point people were really screaming and yelling and freaking out.
Yeah, some of the women were totally freaking out. I mean, hell, even the guy. Listen, if you came face to face with someone with a machine gun, you're going to go freak out too. Or not knowing what's on the other side of the door, knowing that there's all these people getting shot. So it was a crazy. And then they put us in another bigger room with the foundation room, and then by that point there's probably 60 or 80 people. And in my mind, then they had the sweep of the SWAT guys. You know, they're coming in.
So when you say they, now it was just staff
SWAT.
Until the SWAT team showed up.
The SWAT team is there and saying, you know, they're like, now the SWAT team's in charge.
Yeah.
Listen up.
Yeah.
You know, hands up. Let's move. And it was just like very, you know.
And they moved you, the SWAT team.
They moved her from one room into this other room.
Okay.
And, you know, the SWAT team, in their defense, I mean, they don't know, you know,
they don't know.
There could be a shooter.
Yeah, you could be the bad guy.
Yeah, it could be the bad guy.
Hiding out.
So it was a high-stress situation. And in my mind, I'm thinking, then eventually the SWAT team leaves, and I didn't know, are there armed guards, you know, outside of our room? Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, well, how many elevators is it possible to get up to this, where we're at? For a while, it was a high-stress situation, because you just don't know. Because right outside, down the street, people are getting mowed down. With, you know,
incredible. It's
with
insane.
the machine gun.
So I'm guessing that the time you're describing now is maybe 10:30 p.m. It's like an hour later.
My guess has got to be. I wasn't checking the time, but I'm going to say we're probably in that 10:20 to 10:30.
Okay, so then take us through. Then what happened? Did people sort of mellow out and calm down? Well,
we were in the bigger room. You know, it's like anything else. There's some people that are, you know, leaders, and other people are going to stress the hell out. Some people are going to get emotional.
And you really find out who's who under stress, for sure.
Yeah, and now, listen, some people use, you know, I tend to be a funny person, and so I was trying to make light of certain things. Right. This is definitely not a funny situation.
I get it.
But I'm trying to make other people laugh.
Yeah, right.
Other people, you know, they're very emotional. Yeah. And so you saw the range of the human emotion in that room, for sure.
And it's about 60, 80 people you were with in the big room?
About 60 or 80 people. And then we basically there the whole night. Yeah. We got locked down, let go, probably about 7:45 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so tell me what the night was like. You know, just, I mean, listeners are totally curious. Like,
people were talking, you know. Some people try to sleep uncomfortably, you know.
And by the way, just to interrupt for a moment, if you can hear the background noise, there's a little music. We're at a fundraiser, a charity event, where Monday's Dark, an organization here in Las Vegas, they got tons of supplies here. It's awesome what they've done. We just took a little break from they're loading this huge semi-truck now, loading it with water and every supply you can imagine that the blood banks need, and just, you know, victims and victims' families need. So
yeah, it's
awesome
amazing what, you know.
Yeah. And so quickly. I can't believe how quick they organized this. It's amazing.
We saw the worst of humanity yesterday. Yeah. I would say you're seeing today the best of humanity.
Right. It's really makes you feel good.
You know, I remember where I was at 9/11. I'm sure most others do too. I'm sure most people might remember 10, 20 years from today where they may have been when this happened. I know I will always remember.
This changed me forever.
Yeah. You know, I do think despite our differences with so many issues, you know, the Democrats, the Republicans, I mean, I think that there are certain things we can all agree on. That
humanity, basic humanity. Absolutely, this is awesome. Okay, so just want to hear and have the listeners hear about your night there. What was it like? So, you know, at some point, I mean, maybe an hour later, 2 hours later, I just out of curiosity, was the foundation room providing drinks and food or anything? Or
they did provide water, and then in the middle, like late in the middle of the night, like in the 3 o'clock range, 3
o'clock in the morning.
Probably there were some chips, maybe. They brought some little chips or something. I didn't have any.
Okay. And they brought in some tablecloths, and people use those as blankets.
Some people are using those as blankets, and I use that as a blanket towards the end of the night.
So did people fall asleep? Did people stay up all night?
Like I said, some people probably stayed up the whole night. Yeah. Other people attempted to get some sleep. I attempted to get a little sleep, not very successfully, but I attempted.
And you just slept on the floor, on the wood floor, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. What else can you tell us? What else do you want people to know?
I don't know. You know, listen, I mean, what we went through was
it's nothing
small.
Compared to, yeah.
My friend Brad Sugars, he was at the concert. You know, people are getting shot right next to him. Bullets are going over his head. One guy that I met yesterday, lost his 20-year-old nephew, who was a security guard. So what we went through is nothing in comparison to what some of these people have been impacted. So I think it's just terrible. I think that they've got to change these gun laws to, no one needs an automatic weapon. No one.
Well, if you can tell me how to get a hold of all the weapons out there already, then I'll listen to you.
I don't know what the answer is, but I know whatever...
You know what the problem is, yeah.
I know, we know what the problem is, and the problem's not getting solved somehow. Mental illness, there's some issues, and it keeps on...
Radical religion? Okay, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the morning, you said at like 7:45 they released you. So what happened? The police came in and said everybody can go now? Did they screen you? Did they interview you? Did they ask you questions?
Oh, in the middle of the night, if you want to go to the bathroom, at first, in the early part of the evening, they would only let 4 people go at a time. 4 men, and then 4 women, and then after everyone had went, then if you wanted to ask to go to the bathroom, they let you go to the bathroom.
Who was there?
It was their security.
The hotel security was...
Yeah, the foundation room security.
Okay. So who told you could go in the morning? You didn't have to do anything?
Whoever oversaw the foundation room, their head of security.
Okay.
So, he did a great job. And on the way out, he says, I would encourage all of you when you get home to hug your kids, call your loved ones. It's all about family.
Right. Yeah, good stuff. So he just said, you can go. Like he got a call from the police or something, and they said, that's it. You can just leave.
Pretty much. And they walked us down. There was some of their in-house security, and then we just kind of left. Yeah. Wow. Waited for an Uber to take us home.
Larry, thank you so much for sharing that story.
Yeah. We all jumped in, about 13, 14 of us.
All right, thank you, and everybody, God bless, be well, and I'll talk to you later.
There's people laying in the front there that aren't moving.
I know they are. I know.
Oh my God.
Why would somebody do that?
Hundreds of people scatter from the stage while many more remain hauntingly still, laying on the ground. There is a pause in the gunshots. Then those watching the chaos from the balcony begin to realize what's happening below.
Listen to that.
What is that?
That's gunfire.
A machine gun.
That's gunfire.
All you see is people running for their life. And then you see bodies, people like they're not moving. And then you just keep hearing the fire. And you hear the machine gun.
Meghan Kavalus recorded that video. It's her terrified voice you hear in the background.
Everything's going through your head. Down.
Hotel security then told her and about 100 or so other people to stay put until it was safe. She took this video during the 11 hours they were locked inside.
SWAT team just came in and threw us down to the ground, and we got some SWAT team out there protecting us right now. Just pray for us, guys.
Happening at the same time in the same hotel on the 29th floor, police officers from New Jersey were leaving dinner. Among them, the New Jersey Police Union president.
A police officer and a security officer literally ran through the casino, and then they doubled back. I've been a cop for 25 years. It's just there's a look on your face of stress, and I knew that this wasn't going to be a minor issue.
But without a radio or a gun, these officers were among the helpless civilians.
I couldn't even imagine taking control of the Las Vegas Strip in every hotel. It was, to me, that's just insurmountable.
The Strip cleared out as the hours ticked away inside hotel rooms on lockdown. When everyone was finally allowed outside this morning, feelings of relief and remorse were overwhelming.
Shock, gratitude and just grief for these poor kids, their families that have lost their loved ones in a slaughter.
Both Kavalus and Colligan were able to get out on flights home today. Now, I asked Colligan if this experience would change his behavior on the police force. He said no. You just answer the call and you go. Christina Maurice.
Thank you, Allie.
Hey, I just came from Las Vegas with my wife, straight from Mandalay. I just realized I have something. It's all receipts from today. Here is the time, you can see right here. Let's see if it's 22:07. So, Las Vegas shooting at Mandalay Bay started at 22:08, confirmed by the police officer. I want to share with you some of this footage. It's me and my wife are at the foundation room on the top of the Mandalay Bay. Here you can see a bracelet with the logo foundation room. It just came from there. We took this picture about an hour ago before shooting, and then I took this video on my Instagram story. As you can see, the festival is going on. Pretty beautiful scenery, so we just took this beautiful Insta story. Then we went down to the restaurant, and once again, here is the receipt when we check out. I don't know if I covered my name here. This is the time, 22:07, when we paid for the bill. As we start heading to the parking, we start seeing lots of police officers, security guards, and all the people rushing to the front. So we didn't pay much attention with my wife because we thought it's, you know, some drunk people acting out, maybe lost money, you know, on the table. So we just headed to the parking, and as we, you know, here's by the way, let me see. Here, yes, I have a parking ticket. Here is the showing time. It's 22:19. It's 10:19 p.m. As we're exiting Mandalay Bay parking lot, and we see lots of police cars pulling into the hotel, and then we took the back road towards the freeway to head back to Los Angeles. I just made it home, and we see lots of more and more police cars coming, and then we see helicopter, and we decided, like, let's check something was wrong. So we went to the live stream of the local channel, and here the video we recorded after it.
On the scene as well, and we'll get to the bottom of this as quickly as possible. We got to keep our fingers crossed that this is not going to be a nasty situation, but they are throwing all the resources they can at it right now, police, and that's what we're waiting to hear now.
And we just left Mandalay Bay, and we heard the news that
by the police system what is going on.
Shut down, and no one can walk in around because
want to pass along to us here
shooting
on the media, pass along to you, the bottom line.
And we are right now on the road driving from Mandalay Bay. So at that time it was announced that there was a shooting somewhere near hotel. Me and my wife was terrified because we just been in the hotel, and they said there was some shooting near hotel, and we thought it was at the festival, music festival that across the street. And then all this time I basically was watching live news. And then we see, like, hour later, information came that it was shooting from the hotel, from the 32nd floor, and they thought it's 2 people dead and 26 injured. But right as of now, updated news is that over 20 people dead and over 100 injured, and it was the time of shooting 22:08, and that's why I just showed the receipt.
right? Right. So the ledge is up there. It's about 5'9", 5'9", and there's a wire cable right here, and I have a tripod my camera here. And I stand on that wire cable to see above. Yeah. So when the shots were happening, I was sitting down here listening to my music, kind of thing. And then the guy let me know that the shots were fired. I took my earbuds and I heard them really loud, so I jumped on the cable and looked over, and I saw a whole bunch of people in the middle. Like earlier in the day, that I was out there all day. So earlier, that whole area, that whole concert area, was just packed with people. You couldn't see any part of the ground. It was just.
They said there was 20,000 people down in.
And they were all crammed in. They were all crammed in there. It was just head-to-head kind of thing from the top. That's what you saw. When I looked over after the shots were fired, what I saw was a cluster of people in the center kind of thing. And we couldn't see very clear, so we were like, I got my glasses on, I'm looking as best I can. I got the camera lens, and I'm trying to zoom in. I can't really see what's going on because it's so far away. So we were asking each other, it's like, are those people all dead? Like, we didn't know if that was all dead people in the middle there. But then the shot stopped, and a whole bunch of people from that center started exiting. So then we saw what was going on, and then the shots started again, and they all hit the ground again. So it went through a series of stuff like that, stop and go, until it was like almost all scattered out.
Were you close enough to where like there was like ringing in your ears or anything, or was it just like?
No, it wasn't ringing in your ears.
Totally loud.
No, it wasn't ringing in your ears, but it was freaking loud. Because if you have ever heard an AK-47 or a gun with that high powered, at close range, like 10 feet away from you or whatever, it doesn't ring your ears, but you can hear it. You know, it's loud.
I know.
Sounds powerful. You know what I mean? Right. And that was an automatic. That wasn't a semi or a single shooter. That was like that loud. So it was loud. Yeah.
I know when I watched the videos, I heard the shots, but it was more like a sniper like fire, and it was just clean. It sounded like they were just falling down, like the shots were falling down. They were really sharp. But from your angle and the angles from other places, you know, they were loud kabooms that were going off. But
fast.
Yeah.
But
fast. Really fast.
Yeah. And so what I was picturing of that woman was, I thought the shooter was down on the ground, and it sounded to me like it was an exchange of gunfire from the police to the shooter, and that the people were waiting for silence so they could run away from it. But I had no idea that they had no idea where the gunfire was coming from either, and I heard on the radio earlier today that some people started running toward Mandalay Bay not knowing they were going right into gunfire. And that's pretty messed up. I was talking to one of the guys tonight who was on the ground, our contact, and he was pretty sad too, because it's just a sad situation. Right. But from what the footage and stuff that they were seeing, you know, I think he acknowledged that it was an AK-47. He goes, because those were high-powered bullets that went through 2 or 3 people. Wow. So some of the shots were one shot kind of thing. Yeah. And it would hit 2 or 3 people as opposed to just one.
So you are on lockdown all night, up there, up on the top floor, in wherever you were at, and you know you didn't get out until about 7 this morning. 7:30. Then you got to go down, and I guess it was just chaos throughout the whole building, wasn't it? Or was it kind of like every day? Like
no, it was kind of. That's why I thought it was kind of surreal. I told somebody earlier that it was more of a surreal feeling because everybody was just kind of walking about, going to do their business, whether it's going to get their car, going to their hotel, going to get a cab, whatever. There was no sense of collective sadness or collective angst or collective panic or anything like that. It was more like, this is tourist town Las Vegas, and this is something that happened. So it was a really weird experience in that sense. You know, and maybe everybody else was kind of nervous and didn't want to think about it. I don't know how people process, right?
A couple of floors above the killer's room
was Jody Kishiga. He was on the roof of the Mandalay Hotel on a photography assignment, and we've reached Jody in Las Vegas. And Jody, thanks for joining us. I understand it has been a long night and day for you. How are you holding up?
I'm doing okay.
What was it like when you were on the roof? Tell us about it.
Okay, well, I was doing my job. I was doing some photography, and I had my earbuds in because I was listening to a radio program, and security came out and let me know that there was something going on. They asked me if I had heard anything, and I took out my earbuds, and that's when we heard more shots, and it was just like really rapid fire. It was like boom, 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 and it sounded really close. It sounded really loud. So I looked over the ledge to see what was going on, and we just saw all the people, the crowds of people. Basically, they were all clustered in one spot in the middle and the other stage kind of thing. And we didn't know if they were dead or alive. So me and the security guys we're asking each other, are they dead? What's going on? We had no idea. The scariest part, I imagine, for the people down there, and a little nerve-wracking for us, was we had no idea where the shots were coming from or who was shooting. We didn't know if it was the police or an assailant or what was going on. We just knew that they were really loud and that there was something going on. People were running and screaming. The shots would stop, and then people would run toward different exits. There was like 3 or 4 exits, and so you see them streaming out different exits. And then the shots would start again, and everybody would hit the ground again. And it was just, they would go on for a long time, and they were really, really loud. And I was up there, and then the shot stopped, and then there were some single shots, like a pistol, and there was about 4 or 5 single shots that went off. So we had no idea how many people were shooting or anything. We just didn't have any clue. And then after the shots stopped for a little while, my cameras were still going. It was on a time lapse, and the guy asked me. He got a call and said, "Oh, we got to take the cameras down. We got to evacuate the building." So I started taking the tripod down and the cameras, and I have a big black plastic case for the cameras. And it looked kind of suspicious, so I was a little nervous because the police helicopters were starting to circle looking for the shooter. And I was the only one on the roof with the security guys, and I had this big black plastic case. So anyway, they shined the spotlight on me, and the security guys must have let them know it was okay somehow, because they flew away after that, and I was able to get the cameras out. We got into the building, and as soon as we got into the building, somebody yelled from another room. They yelled that the shooter is in the building, is in Mandalay Bay, and then they just said, "Everybody get down, get down." So we hit the floor and we laid on the ground. And a few minutes later, somebody yelled again, and they said, "That's okay. It's a SWAT team. They're friendlies. So just stay laying on the ground and raise your hands. Let us see your hands." So we laid on the ground for about a good 10-15 minutes while they cleared the room kind of thing. And then they ushered us all into one smaller room. There was about 80 of us with staff and guests. And we basically were on lockdown in that room without knowing what was going on kind of thing for that whole time, right until 7:30 in the morning.
Wow. Were you scared?
It was more like shock kind of thing. We didn't really comprehend what was going on right away. The only time I got a little bit scared was when we entered the building and we didn't know where the shooter was, and somebody said they were in the building, and they told us to get down. So we had no idea what was going on at that time. So that was a little nerve-wracking. When I was watching the shooting going on the ground, I thought the shooter was on the ground, so we weren't really scared. We were more scared for the people on the ground, kind of thing, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, no, I do. And so so you were on the roof, so you couldn't hear, could you hear the gunshots? And we know that the shooter was on the 32nd floor. What is the roof a few stories higher?
Yeah, I was probably almost directly above the shooter, and I had no idea I was above him at the time. We thought the shooter was on the ground. Mm-hmm. So I didn't feel like threatened at that time because we assumed they were on the ground, and that's quite a ways distance from the roof to the ground. But as the shots continued to rain down, you could hear them they were just so loud that, you know, it made me a little suspicious, a little apprehensive standing on the ledge. I thought, frick, those sound like a lot closer. So I kind of got down from the ledge and just, that's when the shooting started. And I got back up and looked again, and, you know, everybody was pretty much scattered by that time. And I didn't feel like threatened at that time because we assumed they were on the ground, and it's quite a ways distance from the roof to the ground. But as the shots continued to rain down, you could hear them they were just so loud that, you know, it made me a little suspicious, a little apprehensive standing on the ledge. I thought, frick, those sound like a lot closer. So I kind of got down from the ledge and just, that's when the shooting started, and I got back up and looked again, and, you know, everybody was pretty much scattered by that time, and, you know, I was able to start bringing the tripod down and the cameras down.
What is Las Vegas like today? What's it been like walking around?
Well, when we came out of the building, we were only allowed to exit, as you can imagine, from one specific area, and everybody was ordered, you know, not ordered, but told that, you know, if you have a car here or a room here, you're going to have to get to it later because they have an ongoing investigation. So Las Vegas Boulevard, the main strip, was closed from a certain area to a certain area. So I can't get my vehicle until later on as well. It's parked over by the site.
you.